The biggest counterfeit money operation in Burkina Faso's history was carried out under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traoré. The 30 billion francs in fake currency seized from a villa in one of Ouagadougou's luxury neighborhoods, and the names arrested in the operation revealed a massive conspiracy planned against Africa's economy. Everything began with the keen eyes of a young clerk named Aminata Sawadogo, working at the central bank. During routine money counting, she noticed something strange about the banknotes in her hands. The texture felt right, the color was perfect, but something was wrong. Saw rushed to her superiors. She showed them the banknotes. Those are fake, but incredibly high-quality counterfeits. They pass normal checks. Only special devices can detect them, she said. Bank manager Jean-Claude Caboret was initially skeptical, but detailed examinations proved the young clerk was right. High-quality, counterfeit francs indistinguishable from real ones were circulating in the market. Caboret panicked. If this information spreads, the economy will collapse. People will withdraw their money from banks. Crisis will begin, he thought. He immediately called the finance minister. Finance Minister Laurent Gbagbo tried to remain calm on the phone. Stay calm. Don't tell anyone about this. I will inform the president, he said. When Traoré received the news, he went mad with anger. He slammed his fist on the table. This is not ordinary counterfeiting. This is economic warfare. They want to devalue our currency and impoverish the people. He immediately convened the National Security Council. The meeting included the Interior Minister, Defense Minister, Intelligence Chief, and Central Bank Governor. Traoré spoke harshly. Someone is trying to stage an economic coup in our country. They will inflate the market with fake money and create inflation. Our people will suffer. This is a declaration of war. Intelligence Chief Commandant Arago took the floor. Mr. President, there has been an abnormal increase in cash circulation in recent weeks. It's as if someone is pumping large amounts of money into the market. The central bank governor confirmed. Yes, money supply is increasing uncontrollably. But we couldn't find where it was coming from. Now it's clear. They're printing fake money. Traoré stood up. Immediately form a special team. The best intelligence officers, financial experts, and special forces will work on this. We won't rest until we destroy the counterfeit money network. The team quickly got to work. The first clue came from the paper used for the fake money. This paper wasn't produced in Burkina Faso. It was imported. Customs records were scanned. Captain Ibrahim Diallo presented the findings to Traoré. Mr. President, high-quality printing paper has entered the country in the last 6 months. Special printing inks have passed through customs. The buyer company? Isra asked curiously. Who is the buyer company? Tio handed over the file. A printing house called Prémerie Modern Essa. The owner is François Ouedraogo. But what's interesting is, the man suddenly became rich 6 months ago. He bought a luxury villa, bought expensive cars. Traoré's eyes lit up. Here's the clue. Put the man under surveillance. Who he meets, where he goes, learn everything. But don't let him notice. The surveillance team got to work. François Ouedraogo's life was put under the microscope. Every step was watched, every phone call was listened to, every meeting was recorded. A week later, a critical development occurred. Ouedraogo left his house at midnight. He got into a black jeep. He was heading out of the city. The surveillance team reported by radio. Target is leaving the city, heading towards the industrial zone, probably to the printing house. Traoré got excited. Continue surveillance. Don't reveal your position. We're coming too. Tonight, we will destroy the network. Special forces moved into action silently. Traoré wanted to personally manage the operation. A convoy of 20 vehicles moved silently without lights. It was approaching 2 in the morning. François Ouedraogo stopped in front of an old factory building. He checked around. He went inside. The surveillance officer whispered, "There are lights." Inside. Sounds are coming. It seems like machines are working. Traoré gave the order. Surround the building. No one escapes. We're going in. But be careful. There might be armed men inside. Special forces surrounded the building. All exits were secured. Snipers took position. Everything was ready. Traoré called out with a megaphone. "Attention those inside. The building is surrounded. Come out and surrender. Don't resist." No sound came from inside, but the machine sounds stopped. The lights went out. Panic had begun. Traoré became impatient. "Go inside, but be careful. They might be trying to destroy evidence." The door was broken. Special forces rushed in. There was no armed resistance. But the sight inside shocked everyone. Huge printing machines were still warm. There was half-printed fake money on the floor. The smell of ink was everywhere. A professional operation. Traoré entered. He looked around. "Here's the evidence," he said. "The scheme they set up to destroy our country, but they won't succeed." Captain Diallo reported, "Mr. President, 12 people were arrested, including François Ouedraogo." "But more importantly," Traoré asked, "what's more important?" Diallo handed over a file. "There's a list of names here. Who ordered? Who paid? It's all written. And these names will surprise you." Traoré looked at the list. He couldn't believe his eyes. Former ministers, parliamentarians, businessmen, and even some foreign names. They were all involved in this. He shouted angrily, "So, the conspiracy was this big. It wasn't just fake money. It was a plan to take over the country." At that moment, one of those arrested said he wanted to talk. The technical manager of the printing house, Pascal Tapsoba, began to confess, crying. "They deceived us," he said. "They said we would just do printing work, but then they forced us to print fake money. If we didn't accept, they would kill our families." Traoré asked, "Who forced you? Who did you receive orders from?" Tapsoba continued, trembling. "There are big bosses. There are foreigners. They said, 'You will collapse Burkina Faso's economy. Traoré will fall. Our man will replace him.'" Traoré's face turned red. "Give names. Tell everything, or you'll rot in prison for life." Tapsoba sobbed out the names. Each name was like a bomb. Some were well-known opposition politicians, some were wealthy businessmen, and some, Traoré cut him off. "Enough. I understand. Arrest them all. No one sleeps tonight. All names must be arrested by morning." The operation expanded. Police teams scattered everywhere. Villas were raided. Offices were searched. Secret safes were opened. By morning, the number of those arrested reached 50. Among them were very well-known names. The public would be greatly shocked when they woke up. Traoré held a press conference early in the morning. Behind him, the seized fake money was piled up. The image was striking. He began his speech. "Dear people, tonight we prevented the most despicable conspiracy in our history. Someone wanted to collapse our economy with fake money." He showed the fake money in his hand. "Look here, can't you distinguish it from the real thing? They printed 30 billion francs. They were going to release it into the market." Journalists were amazed. One of them asked, "Mr. President, who can print such quality fake money?" Traoré answered harshly, "Who? First the names you know, then the powers behind them. But we caught them all. Here's the list." The names projected on the screen plunged the hall into silence. Everyone was shocked. How could these names be involved in such a thing? He continued, "This is not just about fake money. This is an attempted economic coup. Their goals were to devalue the franc, create inflation, impoverish the people, and finally," he paused, "finally overthrow me and establish a puppet government. But they failed because our people are awake, because our army is strong, because Burkina Faso doesn't kneel." A BBC correspondent raised his hand. "So which powers are behind this operation?" "Are there foreign connections?" Traoré slammed his fist on the table. "Of course there are. Who provided the technology to print fake money? Who financed the money? Who organized it?" "We'll reveal everything soon." A French journalist interrupted. "Those accusations are very serious. Do you have proof?" Traoré laughed. "Proof? The printing house is there. The fake money is there. The confessors are talking. Bank accounts, records, correspondence. Everything is in our hands. When the meeting ended, the people had taken to the streets. Anger and support demonstrations had begun. "Traoré is right. He's our leader. Down with the traitors!" Slogans were being chanted. Meanwhile, the interrogation of those arrested continued. Each was giving different information, but they all had a common point, a big plan. François Ouédraogo finally decided to talk. Despite all his lawyer's objections, he confessed. "Yes, we printed fake money," he said. "But this wasn't my idea. They offered it to me. They said, either you do this job, or you lose your business." The prosecutor asked, Who? Who offered?" Ouédraogo hesitated, then spoke. "Former Finance Minister Jérôme Carr came to me. He said, 'We will save the country. Traoré is a dictator. We will overthrow him.'" "They said," Ouédraogo explained, "the plan was like this. We would release the fake money into the market. Inflation would explode. The people would revolt. The army would intervene." "So where did the financial support come from?" was asked. Ouédraogo lowered his head. "From abroad. Money was deposited in special accounts. Regular payments were made every month. We received a total of $10 million. "From which country?" was asked. "I don't know," he said. "But it was coming from European banks, sometimes from Dubai, sometimes from Switzerland, each time from a different account." Following these confessions, Traoré held a second press conference. This time he spoke more harshly. "Now everything is clear," he said. "This conspiracy is being managed from outside. Someone wants to return Burkina Faso to the old colonial days, but they won't succeed." He showed the documents in his hand. "Here are the money transfers. Here are the instructions. Here are the secret meeting minutes. Everything is here." Then he turned to his people. "Dear brothers, this attack is not just on me, but on all of you. They wanted to steal your future, your children's bread." The people shouted angrily, "Long live Traoré! Down with imperialism!" Traoré continued, "But we won. We didn't fall into their trap. We protected our money. We protected our economy. We protected our independence." On the fourth day of the operation, a new development occurred. Former Minister Jérôme Carr, who was arrested, began to talk. "I confess," he said. "I'm involved in everything, but there are powers beyond me. I'm just an intermediary." "Who's behind you?" was asked. Carré took a deep breath. Meetings were held in Abidjan. There were people coming from Accra. Instructions came from Paris. Approval from Washington. The hall fell silent. This confession changed everything. The conspiracy was international. Carré continued. "They said Traoré is dangerous. He's uniting with Mali and Niger, breaking away from the West, getting closer to Russia and China. He must be stopped." "How would you stop him?" "First, we would create an economic crisis, inflation with fake money, then social explosions, strikes, demonstrations, uprisings. And finally," Carré swallowed, "finally collaborators within the army would act. There would be a coup. I would be the interim prime minister." Thus, the confessions had a bomb effect. Traoré immediately increased security measures. Purges began in the army. Suspicious officers were detained. On the fifth day, the court process began. The defendants appeared before the judge one by one. The charges were serious: treason, economic sabotage, terrorism. The chief prosecutor read his indictment. The defendants tried to destroy the state in a planned and organized manner. They wanted to disrupt economic stability by printing fake money. Evidence was presented: fake money, printing machines, digital records, bank statements, witness testimonies. Everything was in the file. Defense lawyers were in a difficult position. The evidence was very strong. Confessions had been obtained. They were caught red-handed. Meanwhile, support messages were coming from all over Africa. Mali leader Amy Goa said, "Brother Traoré is fighting for Africa's economic independence." Niger leader Chiani said, This attack is on all of us. We must now act together. African currency must be strong. Guinea leader Doumbouya said, "Fake money is terrorism. Traoré is fighting a rightful struggle." Senegal, Chad, Uganda, South Africa all gave support. Africa was now awake. It was uniting against economic attacks. Traoré evaluated this support. He called on the African Union. "We must create a common currency. We must fight together against counterfeit money printing." His proposal quickly found support. The idea of establishing an African central bank strengthened. Common security holograms began to be discussed. On the 10th day of the operation, Traoré appeared before the people. Thousands had gathered. There was an atmosphere of victory. "Dear people," he said, 10 days ago, we prevented a vile attack on our economy. We seized 30 billion fake francs. We caught 50 traitors." The people applauded enthusiastically. Traoré continued. "But more importantly, we disrupted the game. We exposed those who wanted to impoverish and rule us. Young people kept tempo, chanting, 'Traoré, Traoré!' Women shouted victory cries. The elderly prayed. Traoré finished his words like this: "This victory showed that no one can deceive Burkina Faso. No one can play with our money. No one can collapse our economy." The fate of the seized fake money was also determined. They would be burned in a special ceremony at the central bank. They would turn to ashes. The burning ceremony was broadcast live. Traoré threw the first fake money into the fire. "Let this be the last," he said. "No one can steal our people's labor again." As the fire grew, the people watched with joy. 30 billion francs of fake money was turning to ashes. But more importantly, the conspiracy had collapsed. Traoré made his final speech. "This fire is not just burning fake money, it's also burning the exploitation system. Now a new era is beginning. We will protect our own money. We will manage our own economy. We will determine our own destiny. And no one, absolutely no one, can stop us. Not with fake money, not with coups, not with threats. Africa's time has come." This was the miracle Traoré created, not just catching 30 billion fake money, but seeing and disrupting the game. Now Africa was awake. It was on alert against economic attacks, and Traoré was at the forefront. On the 15th day of the operation, international repercussions continued. Western media outlets were reporting the news from different angles. Some were trying to portray Traoré as a dictator, but the evidence was there. The fake money was real, the conspiracy was real, and Traoré was right. The African Union decided to hold an emergency meeting. The agenda had a single item: joint measures against the counterfeit money threat. Representatives of 54 African countries met in Addis Ababa. Traoré joined the meeting via video conference. His speech was historic. "Dear leaders, my brothers, if we are gathered here today, the reason is clear. We have seen the new face of economic exploitation. They no longer come with tanks and rifles. They come with fake money. They want to collapse our economy from within." The hall resounded with applause. Everyone knew Traoré was right. Similar threats existed in other countries. The Kenyan leader took the floor. "We also caught fake dollars." The Tanzanian leader added, "We have fake euros." The Ugandan representative said, "This is an organized attack. We are all targets." Traoré cited his solution proposals. "We need to set common security standards.
We must make our currencies impossible to counterfeit. We must share technology and, most importantly, we must establish a common intelligence network."
The proposals were unanimously accepted. The African Monetary Security Commission was established. One of the names Traoré trusted was appointed as chairman. Meanwhile, the tentacles of the network caught in Burkina Faso extended to other countries as well. 3 more printing houses were raided in Ivory Coast. 20 people were arrested in Ghana. A fake money depot was found in Togo. The network was bigger than thought. Traoré evaluated these developments. "Did you see? It's not just an attack on us. but on the entire region. But they're too late now. Africa has awakened. It won't sleep again, he said. The court process also continued. The defendants' lawyers were recommending they become informants to benefit from reduced sentences. New confessions were coming every day, and each confession showed the depth of the conspiracy. Former parliamentarian Robert Zongo's confession felt like a bomb. The fake money business is the tip of the iceberg, he said. The real plan was much bigger. We would create simultaneous crises throughout Francophone Africa. People would revolt, armies would intervene, and finally, the old system would return, the Da. Prosecutor asked, "What do you mean by the old system?" Zongo lowered his head. "You know, the system under France's control. The days when we couldn't take a step without their approval. The system where the CFA franc determined our fate." This confession became headlines in the African press. The old colonial system wants to return. Headlines were thrown. People organized protest demonstrations in the streets. Traoré tried to calm these reactions. "Anger is justified, but violence is wrong," he said. "We are civilized people. We will respond by working, by producing, by getting stronger." When the 20th day came, the first court decisions were announced. The ringleaders received life imprisonment sentences. The accomplices were sentenced to between 20 and 30 years. Their assets were confiscated, and most importantly, the whole world learned about this conspiracy. Traoré made his final assessment. "This event taught us a lot. Our enemy is not asleep. They're constantly trying new methods, but we are ready." 2. We have an answer to every attack. The seized counterfeit money machines were converted into the central bank's new security laboratory. Burkina Faso could now better protect its own money. Technology had been turned to their advantage. Young engineers developed new security measures by examining these machines: holograms, watermarks, micro-writings, special inks. Everything would be domestically produced. Traoré visited these young people. "Here is our future. You are," he said. "You took the enemy's technology and made it our weapon. I'm proud of you. Africa's bright minds are here." This was the real victory. Not just disrupting the conspiracy, but taking the conspirators' weapons and using them against them. The fake money machines had turned into security technology. The traitors had become lessons for patriots. Defeat had become victory.